Good morning. Just got to school. It's 6:40 in the morning. School doesn't start until 8 o'clock, so I have about 20 minutes to just kind of sit. I'm going to play on my Facebook or Instagram and just look at things and relax. And then I have an hour of study time before school starts. I think I just started this video to share some feelings that have been underlying but come to a head in the last couple days because there were things that I talked about in my appointment on Tuesday. I go to therapy intermittently because my schedule is so crazy, but I went to therapy on Tuesday and I was talking to her about everything that we always have going on, like normal stuff within our family dynamic, but then managing, working, and going to school, and everything that comes along with how hectic the schedule is right now. And I'm really not feeling very good about it. I mean, I go to work, I'm capable of providing for the family, I am doing well in school. My family as a whole is doing really, really well. I don't really get to see any family outside of my immediate family, my fiance and my children, because I don't have time, but them as a whole, including me, are doing well. But the feeling comes, sorry, there's a squirrel and the feelings that come from being so busy right now for me are that I don't have time to be really involved in everything that's going on. So I feel like a very absent parent, and I have a lot of guilt about that. And so that's really difficult. It's really difficult to not be home, not know everything that's going on at every minute. And yesterday, as an example, the only thing that really set it off was school activities for the kids, or one of my children not turning in their electronic by the assigned time at nighttime. And so in the afternoon the next day, which was yesterday, I didn't know that electronic had been taken away because it just wasn't communicated to me. And it's not a big deal that it wasn't communicated to me, because Nate can't be expected to remember to tell me every single little thing, but it just set in my mind that I don't know everything that's going on, and it really snowballed the feelings that I was having about feeling like an absent parent, like I'm not involved, like I can't be involved because as much as I know what's going on, regardless, even if he did tell me every little thing, I'm not home, I'm not available. And it's hard to explain, but I think I mentioned before, I work double shifts on the weekends. That's recently changed. I do first and second double shifts, so I go in at 5:30 in the morning, I get out at 9:30 at night. That's every Saturday and Sunday. I go to school Monday through Friday. Right now it's 8 to 2:30. It'll change soon when I start lab and clinical. It'll be earlier and end a little later, I believe. And so after that, I also have to allot time to do homework. You're annoying. And so that's usually the time after dinner. So we'll eat dinner, if we can get it done and get to it, happens between 6:30, 7 o'clock. And so the second dinner's done, I grab my stuff, I go into our office in the basement, and I sit there and I study for basically as long as I can. And I do take a break every half hour, 45 minutes, hour or so, depending on how immersed I am in it, or if I just need to get up and move around. And so I would typically I sit and play a game on my phone just to like clear my mind and rethink through everything that I'm going over, or I'll step out into the next room and work on some laundry that we have going. Get up, go pee, get a drink, whatever, stop upstairs, say hi to everybody, go back down. And then in between school time and homework time, yesterday one of the kids had a soccer practice, and so I was able to just take that kid to soccer practice by myself, took my schoolwork with me, and did homework the whole time. If it was a game, I wouldn't have brought in my schoolwork. I would have been, made sure I had the time to watch and take pictures and scream from the sidelines, which I like to do because that's just the kind of mom that I am when it comes to my kids being in sports. But it was just a practice. I didn't need to watch the practice, so I did homework then. So, yesterday, all said and done, I did like 3 hours of homework. Yesterday was a day that wasn't the one that cooked dinner. Nate cooked dinner, but, there are a lot of things, and I did homework while he was cooking dinner too, but there are a lot of things in the day that need to get done. It was pick a kid up from soccer practice at 4:30, pick up another kid from weightlifting club, I think it is, and then go home, drop her off, and go to another soccer practice. So it's just a lot of running around, a lot of things to do, which is a normal parent thing, especially when you have kids in general. We have 4 kids, so there are more appointments, more activities, more in the schedule than someone that has, say, 1 or 2 kids. And so the balance isn't there right now. There isn't a lot of me being available for the kids, and I'm just feeling guilty about it. I just don't feel happy that I'm not as an involved mom than I normally would be if I wasn't in school. And so basically I hit a point where, I've only been in school for 3 months, and I've already hit a point where I'm like, oh my God, I have 13 more months of this before this is over. Look at how much of my time this is taking up. The end goal is a good goal, and I don't want to change what I'm trying to achieve. I don't want to. We had discussed it. I brought it up. I said, would it be easier if I switched to part-time? That would make my graduation push out further, but would make me more available to the family and give me more opportunity to make money, which is also an issue for us right now. 6 people on a 1-person income is stretched very, very thin. And, it's just not easy to feel like I'm accomplishing stuff, even though I know that we are making it work financially. The kids are happy. They are getting to do the things that they want to do. I am getting good grades in school. All of those things are good things. If those things weren't happening as well as they are, then I probably would feel worse, but it doesn't mean I'm not feeling bad about not being able to go spend time with my friends, or call up my mom and go shopping with her, or call up my sister and take my kids over to have a fire and play with her kids, or any of those things. So it just doesn't, it's not to say that I don't know that I'm doing well, because I am doing well, which was the conversation that I had with the therapist. I do really feel like I'm doing well. My anxiety is pretty well managed right now, but it doesn't mean that I don't have moments where I'm not feeling good. And so that's where I'm at right now. I don't feel good. And, I'm still coming to school early. I still spend an hour, sometimes 2, before school studying. I get up really early and leave really early. Which also helps me stay on a consistent get-up schedule, because my get-up time would be similar to the days that I work. But that was one of the scarier things for me, is that when I was working 3rd and 1st double shifts, I had to go to work for 9:30 at night And so I didn't have an issue waking up for work if I took a nap, or if it was the in between the 2 double shifts where I would only sleep for a couple hours, because Nate's not in bed yet. He can literally kick me out of the bed and make sure that I'm going to work, as opposed to 5:30 in the morning on a given weekend day where he's not up for the day yet, and it's ultimately on me to make sure that I get up and get moving. And when you're so exhausted, you hit the snooze or you turn the alarm off and you're like, let me just close my eyes for one more second, and then you wake up 20 minutes after you're supposed to be at work, which I have done multiple times in the past. And so that creates an anxiety level that thus far it hasn't happened, but it doesn't mean it's not in my mind that I'm worried it's going to happen. And so then that triggers me into waking up multiple times a night, so I'm not getting restful sleep. And that was the other thing I try to prioritize, is going to bed really early. I mean, if I feel like I've done enough homework and it's 8 o'clock at night, I'm like, okay, peace out, I'm going to bed. I'm getting up at 4:30 to get to school by 6 o'clock so that I have 2 hours of study time. And he understands that I'm prioritizing that, but it's wicked hard to balance. And so it's a lot. And people will say, I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, I don't know how I do it either. I have a very regimented schedule. Even if it's something simple, as far as like yesterday, which was awesome. We went to the town hall to get our marriage license, and we knew it was just a errand basically that we needed to do, but we put it in our family schedule. We keep an app that, is for all of our schedule, and everybody's color coded and who's going where and whatever. And we put it in our schedule so that if it's in there, that's what happens. It gets done. Even Monday, I have to pick up all of Aubrey's fundraising. They were selling butter braids, and I have to pick them all up on Monday. So it's in the schedule. They give you a time range, 2 to 6, but it's in the schedule so that I know either he or I need to stop at her school between 2 and 6 to pick those up. And whoever's schedule it fits in the best is who's going to make sure it gets done, and we'll communicate about that. But those are the things that we're making sure are getting done. And if I'm lucky, once in a while I can schedule in going to visit with a friend or seeing family or whatever, but that's minimal. We prioritize friends and socialization for our kids, and for ourselves, not as much. Or we have to be the selfish friends who say, I really want to spend time with you, but I need you to come to me. And luckily enough, we have friends that are willing and able to do that. So it's just wasn't a good week as far as that goes. And nursing school gets increasingly harder. It's not like when I started, where I was just in a math and English class and I'm like, sweet, this is sweet, I've done all this stuff, I know it all. And now I'm in another 2 classes, and some of the stuff I do know, or some of the stuff I do remember from learning in school, or some things. Nursing fundamentals is a lot of stuff that I already have been using as a CNA, so that's not difficult. But it doesn't mean that I don't have to study. It doesn't mean, I don't want to be a bare minimum nurse. I want to know everything they want me to know, because I intend to have a 10-year plan after I graduate nursing school to get a master's degree, giving myself 10 years to get essentially a 6-year degree. And so if I have the basis for it now and learn it now, then later when I'm basically retaking the same stuff and just more in depth, I'll have a good foundation. And so I feel like it's important to prioritize, on top of prioritizing school just to get through school, prioritize doing well at it now, so that when I move on, after I've graduated, when I move on, I'll do well with that too. So those were the topics this week. Not the funnest stuff, but the other thing that the therapist touched on was how in all of the stuff that you're dealing with, is your sobriety going? Are you having any thoughts of drinking? Do you feel like the stress would bring you back to that place? And I'm like, nope. I am an alcoholic. I am not able to drink, and I don't think about drinking like that. I do have like memories will pop up in my Facebook, or I'll drive by a package store that I used to go to, and that kind of brings on some like funky little bad feelings, because it makes these little memories like pop up in my head where I'm like, oh, I remember that happened, or when I did that, or whatever. And so those things don't make me feel good. It literally drives home the point for me that I never want to be back in that place again. So no, I don't think about actively drinking. I don't ever want to be an active drinker again. So I don't think like I could pull into there and just like get something and drink it. That thought doesn't cross my mind. The things that come into my mind are, I did this when I was drinking, or look at that Facebook memory, look at how puffy my face was. That was a result of my drinking. I just didn't realize it at the time. So, in that sense, how well I'm doing does contribute to my ability to want to and be able to stay sober. But it doesn't mean that I don't have bad feelings about my chemical addiction that I have. So, just a lot of things. It's always a lot of things, and I think as a parent or as a person, we all have a lot to deal with, no matter what it is. You could have just a husband, or just a wife, or no kids, or lots of kids, or homeschool or not homeschool, or cloth diaper or not cloth diaper, and how you deal with anything, or how stressed out you feel about any of those things, is all subjective. It's all based on your perception, and I'm trying to control what my perception is of things, because I don't want to get to the point where I feel like I need an out. I don't want an out for nursing school. I don't want an out for being a mom. Of course, there are days with that pop up where I'm like, I just want to run away and not deal with any of this responsibility. But as an adult who understands that I have these responsibilities, or have made commitments to things. I made a commitment just having a baby, never mind 3 babies and taking on a stepchild and a fiance and dogs and cats and whatever. I don't back away from responsibility. My mother taught me that. She is a very strong woman who taught me to keep it moving. And so, that's about my 20 minutes. So I have to go study now, but I hope that you're not feeling the same. I hope that other people are having a better time, and my time is about to get better, because now I've given you all of my verbal diarrhea and I'm letting it go, and I'm going to keep it moving.